Hey everybody, it's your boy Captain Hunter coming at you again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, make sure that you hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Today, we are going to jump right in and we're going to dive right into a situation that I think really is becoming to a head, coming to a problem. It's been a problem for quite some time. Now, I teach a number of classes at school, and I often talk about the media image and portrayal of African-American man, black men. And because I think that is so important when it comes to their interactions with police. I think it's so important when it comes to staying out of trouble. It comes to our interactions in love, it comes to our interactions with the medical facilities. Everyone is based on, it's judged on the collective experiences of us all, right? So our collective image is responsible for our singular and our individual interactions that we have. So we have to change our collective image. We really have to change our collective image. And so we have to go about that. Before I really dive into the video, I want to give a shout out because this is, I wore this shirt because it says hold the line. Now this was given to me to a brother who I had helped to pass his promotional examinations. He came to me to get promoted to help study for, to get promoted to the rank of sergeant. Got it, passed it, sent me this shirt, sent me this mug as well, retired, and now I can take an arrest, right? Retired police officer. So thank you so much for the shirt and the mug, as well as the offerings to make sure I stay out of poverty. So if you are someone else that you know is taking a promotional examination or preparing any or corrections police, whatever, and you want some help learning how to answer these questions, what to look for, things along those lines, make sure that you hit me up. So continuing on what we're talking about, and this is the reason I wore the shirt, because hold the line, because we have to develop a line. This has been talked about I've talked about this a number of times. There's a lot of scholars who have talked about this idea of setting up some type of standard, some type of community-based initiative, community-based standard, community-based program that would institute and cause us to have an understanding of what it takes to be a man or to be a woman, to enter into adulthood. This rite of passage that we need to have and to maintain, right? And so we have to develop that. And this is, we're going to talk today about when these things aren't happening. This is what we're going to talk about today. So here, the young man named from the NBA. Now, I stopped watching the NBA quite some time ago because everybody's traveling. Everybody's carrying the ball. I don't even understand what's going on anymore, right? But also just because I just, maybe it's just something, when it happens when you get older, I just don't want to watch those types of things anymore. Nevertheless, there's a young man by the Grizzlies. Now, I do know of him because his highlight reels comes up on my Instagram feed and the things along those lines many, many times. So jamorant is a highly talented individual who the individual in the picture here is Shannon Sharpe, former NFL great, now podcast host, who tried to give Morant a warning a month before today, which would be March 6th, a month ago, tried to say some things. I remember that. I remember Shannon Sharpe saying some things, some words of warnings and words of wisdom to Jamorant. And I want to play those words of wisdom so we can get to what this brother was talking about.
Shannon Sharpe called out Jamorant for acting like a gangster. Memphis Grizzlies superstar Jamorant has been in hot water recently because of his involvement in some off-court issues. TV analyst Shannon Sharpe emphatically expressed concern for the young all-star and called him out for supposedly surrounding himself with bad influences. "Bro, you're not hard," Sharpe said on Undisputed. "That's not your life. People in that life would give anything to be in your life. You got a $200 million contract and you want people in the NBA to think you hood, to think you gangster because you roll with this type of people. Bro, you're putting yourself in harm's way when you don't have to." The mentioned incident was about Morant's run-in with the Indiana Pacers in late January. The Grizzlies' victory was marred by heated confrontations between the opposing players and an alleged post-game gun-threatening incident from Morant's associates. It should be noted that the league investigated the incident, but could not corroborate that individuals were threatened with a weapon.
So in that particular video, we can see where Shannon Sharpe it was a summary of the video. Obviously, it wasn't Shannon Sharpe's words, and you can tell that the announcer there was reading the actual verbatim words and his attempt to be hood as he read it. But anyway, this is something that is problematic, right? This is something that's problematic. Now, let's get to what happened fairly recently. Let's get to this, and I'll break this down a little bit more about what I think should happen to young Jamorant. So this says Colorado police investigating Jamorant after IG live video, right? So it says police in Colorado said Monday they are investigating Jamorant's actions from the weekend after the Grizzlies star posted an Instagram live video in which he displayed what appeared to be a gun while at a nightclub. The Glendale Police Department confirmed the incident took place at a bar in Glendale, a small enclave surrounded by Denver known for its strip clubs and shopping centers. The department said it's investigating whether Morant might have broken any gun laws. Colorado is an open carry state, although there are exceptions to the law, including carrying a firearm on federal property. It is illegal in Colorado to possess a firearm while under the influence of alcohol. NBA rules prohibit a player from possessing a firearm while on team property or traveling on team business. In the video live streamed by Morant, it is not clear whether he is intoxicated, but others are shown drinking. Then it goes on to talk about the continuing investigation. So I think that young Jamorant should be suspended for the rest of the NBA season. He's clearly in possibly all of next season. And the reason that I say that is because a clear, swift, powerful message needs to be sent to not only him, but to any other prospects in the NBA, and any other prospects who want to come up, any other college players, any other high school players, that this type of behavior will not be tolerated. Now, this is not to the level and to the degree that I think that we need to hold our own individuals responsible within our community. I think that we still need to have community sanctions. But absent those types of community sanctions, which I strongly am in favor of, we need to the only other community standards that we can hold anyone to is that of the financial tapping of someone's pockets. It's why we cancel people. It's why we kick people off social media. It's why we stop going to their movies. It's why we stop listening to their music, because we want to hit people where it hurts, and that's generally in our society in the pockets. So that's where it needs to come to. So I think that he needs to be hit in the pockets to send a message to him to get his mind straight, and to get the mind straight of every other individual who's looking up to Jamorant, that this type of behavior is not, cannot, and will not be tolerated. Sure, Colorado is an open carry state, but I guarantee you that in their laws, I haven't looked at them all, but I would almost assume that you can't just go around brandishing your weapon, right? Threatening people, taking it out, for showing it around, waving it around for no good reason, particularly in crowded venues and crowded places such as bars, clubs, etc. So it very well may be that Jamorant may be looking at an arrest warrant for his actions. So we should really stay tuned for that type of thing. Back to the community standard, right? So we have to develop a community standard, because this is we had to know what's acceptable. And so here I played Shannon Sharp's message essentially first, because we had to develop a mindset where we listen to our uncles, to our aunties, to our stepbrothers, our cousins, stepfathers, any other father figure, our coaches. We have to get them along the way and get them all. We have to be able to bring them in and pull them in, and we have to develop a culture that says we're going to listen to these individuals rather than those individuals who are on social media, rap stars, and other people, because this is problematic to us. The most importantly, right? This hurts no one else but to the degree that it hurts young black men. It hurts no one to that degree. And the other individuals that he's hanging out with, trying to show that he's still hood, trying to show that he still got it, he remembers where he came from, all this type of thing does nothing but devastate you. And those same individuals would give anything to be in Jamorant's shoes. They to walk a mile in the shoes to get the $200 million contract. We have to break that. We have to be able to look down deep inside us and develop something that's really going to fit and really get to that heart of the matter. And that has been a problem. It has been an issue. It has been something that we need to develop, and it's going to continue to be something that we need to develop. It's going to be something that we need to develop. The other side of that is this idea of taking responsibility. And Jamorant is really headed for problems if he doesn't turn it around. He's headed for problems if he doesn't turn it around. You know, what else can you say? But he's headed for problems if he doesn't turn it around. All right, so let's get into the next story here, and you know, continuing with our image, continuing with what's going on. I want to play something that has gone viral on social media, and I thought it was worth chiming in on to give my 2 cents about this, because I think that this shows a systemic problem, a continuation of the systemic problem that we're continuing to have, and we really got to take a large, hard look at this and see where we're going.
Got 7 kids and 7 baby mamas.
Let's play it.
Now, for the past few days, I've got 7 kids and 7 baby mamas. Now, for the past few days, I've been going live, telling my story, speaking my truth. And a lot of women having an issue calling me a deadbeat because I tell them I was being irresponsible, not wearing protection. But I always tell these women that I got pregnant that I do not want to be a father to these children. And I offer to pay for the abortion. Majority of times, they'll either take the abortion or they'll take a plan B. But only these 7 have kept these children. But the crazy thing about it is they want me to be responsible for some children I told them I did not want. So for some years now, some of them been trying to get in contact with me, access denied, because I don't really know why you trying to get in contact with me. I done told you I did not want them kids. So don't expect me to be responsible financially, emotional, spiritually, mentally, or physically with some kids I don't want. And I don't give a what nobody think about it. You're not going to force children up on me. Yeah, we both made the decision to lay down and have intercourse. We both was irresponsible about the decisions we made that night. Yeah, I could have pulled out, but I didn't. And I ain't care to pull out because I'm not the one that's going to have to carry a baby for 9 months. It's the woman. In my opinion, women should be more careful on who they sleep with. Because you're going to be like, one of my baby mamas trying to find me so I can financially support a kid I done told her or them I did not want. Another thing is, these just jump offs. These the type of women that I ain't even had to do nothing for. The bare minimum, but they gave me access to their body and they think I want to be a father to a child for one of them? Like, I don't even have no type of love for these women. How do they expect me to love these children? Before y'all say, oh, he irresponsible, he a deadbeat, he don't take accountability. Yeah, I do. I just don't give a f. You ain't gonna force these children on me when I told you I ain't want them. Yeah, I can offer to pay for abortion, but at what point can I force a woman to go get an abortion? I cannot. A woman say, my body, my choice, but I say, it's my life, my choice. Before y'all try to stitch this and be like, black man this, black man that, I don't give a f. I really don't. Got 7.
So this is what happens when you have individuals who are irresponsible and who are braggadocious about it, right? So the problem is that he understands who and what he is. The problem is that he understands, what he has brought to the table or set up from jump as to what he expects and doesn't expect in a relationship. And it's up to each individual, as my great aunt used to tell me, it takes 2 to tango, right? This dance that individuals are doing. It takes 2 individuals, at least 2 individuals, to engage in this type of behavior. This individual decides to go about that and engage in this. And so to the ladies out there, and listen, I'm talking about men's responsibilities, men leveling up, and these men need to be avoided, right? And so the problem is yes, these men out here, this particular individual probably didn't have any good fatherly figures in his life. Probably had no coaches, or we can only speculate as to the path of his life. But he has made it clear and obvious that he doesn't want anything besides carnal relationships with certain young women. And he chooses to perform those carnal relationships without the benefits of protection. So without those benefits of protection, he's going to end up with all the consequences of those types of protection. Now, there's a raging debate that goes on that talks about if certain individuals are unable to become unpregnant once they find themselves through medical procedures to become unpregnant. They find themselves to be pregnant, and through medical procedures that starts with the letter A, they can then go down there and become unpregnant. And so this is and so if the debate rages on concerning stating that if these individuals, males, are able to, or if the females or the ladies do not want to become pregnant anymore, do not wish to carry the baby to full term, that they have methods and options not to do so. If, however, the males are in the same situation, they don't want to care for a baby, they have no options. And even financially, they bear responsibility for a child that they don't want. Not going to talk about that today. I do think it's worth talking about, but I don't think that's a fair. I don't think that it's a fair option. And so this is why this guy is avoiding people's phone calls. Don't try to contact me. I'm not hanging out with the kid, and I'm certainly not going to pay anything. Probably won't be able to get a real paying job, or collect any W-2s and fill out any W-9s for the rest of his life, because he's going to have to be responsible because of decisions that he has made. So these men had to be avoided. We had to do a better job raising men who will not act like this. We had to do a better job with, training our young ladies to stay away from men like this. If you know he's got one he's got one baby or two babies, and he refuses to be a part of those babies' lives, he doesn't give them any financial, mental, spiritual, cultural, social support at whatsoever, why would you then engage in any type of relationship with this individual? Because you like his thug? Because you like his swag? We got to think better. We got to think better. Men and women have to think better. But in this, we got to do a better job with ensuring that our communities are not filled with these types of individuals. We got to do what we got to do in order to make sure that our communities are not filled with these types of individuals. So we got to do better. Men have to do better. We got to wake up, do better, much better. So continuing on with this idea of problematic men within our community, right? Then we got beef starting all over the place with a situation where, like, Joe Budden is getting dragged for corny comments aimed at Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan just got his star on the Walk of Fame, doing some really, really big things, and directing his movie and starring and stuff and all this, and he's had some ups and downs with this thug type of culture that we're alluding to concerning his ex-girlfriend Lori Harvey. Although I'm not in a relationship, I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't think anybody really does, but this is just all assumptions by the general population. But this idea of calling people corny, and these corny guys being overlooked, this is a problem within our community. It's a problem within our community. It's a problem when one brother attacks another. This is another standard that I'm talking about that we need to uphold, get to, uplift, and address. And we really need to understand how to go about doing that. And we just don't seem to have it figured out yet, right? So we're calling people corny, and we don't know what we're doing. And all that, right? So I'm not going to read through all that, but I just know that he's faced some backlash for it, Michael B. Jordan has faced some negative critiques and criticisms because he allegedly knows where his birth certificate's at. So this type of thug type of culture that Jamorant is drifting towards, Shannon Sharpe, older brother, tried to steer him away from. We got a brother posting his indiscrepancies and inconsistencies and toxic behavior all over his seed all over the place, and we got other individuals critiquing how we all look, and it just becomes crazy. It just becomes crazy when we put all this stuff on blast. It becomes crazy, and then some of our ladies are actively selecting these types of men because what's not played. And you can go on Instagram and find the rest of the video concerning the guy there who's had 7 baby mamas. He actually says in the video, anybody who's watching this is still going to, any woman who's watching this is still going to give it to me. And he's not wrong about that. He's not wrong. And so finally, we're gonna finish off with this situation that I think kind of sums up what I'm talking about as far as men stepping up. Now, we all know what happened to brother Chris Rock last year. He was slapped around this time of year at the Oscars by Will Smith. Everyone's been talking about it. Slap heard across the world because it sent reverberations and repercussions throughout all of the world essentially. So my daughter had brought myself and her. She had bought tickets to go see Chris Rock before the slap happened. She got them for whatever ticket price they were, and I think that once the slap happened, the tickets shot up in price. And then we went to the show. So this happened in about March of 2022 or 2021, whatever it was. I think it was last year, 2022. It's now 2023. And so we went to the show in July. It was I think it was June or July. It was like a Father's Day present to myself. And so we went to the show. I think it was June or July. Anyway, around that time. And he didn't talk about the slap. And I was kind of disappointed. I'm like, man, I want to hear this guy talk about this show. So let me back up a little bit. So we all know that, we all know about the slap. So he does a special on Saturday night, live Netflix special. Netflix is a joke. He does the show live. And so the show that he did was actually the same jokes that that my daughter and I had seen in Connecticut last year. It was all the same. It was the same material, except for the last 8 minutes. The last 8 minutes, he talked about Will Smith and the whole slap situation. He didn't talk about it then. I suppose he was still looking to legal options or whatever. I don't know. I don't have his phone number. I don't know why he didn't talk about it, but he didn't. So I was disappointed then. I was not disappointed last night. And in fact, people are saying that he clapped back. He finally says something. He finally responds. I personally don't think his response was good enough. If you remember, how many of you all can remember out there, can recall when Beyonce fell on stage? All right, there was a video that Beyonce, this was years ago, maybe 5, maybe even 10 years ago. I don't know what it was. She had fell on stage, right? She's doing this head bob and then she falls off stage, right? I watched it at work. I watched it at work. Yeah, I watched it at work. So I watched it at work. I get home, I'm going to watch it again, and it was already deleted from the internet. Already deleted. So you can't find it. You couldn't find it then. I haven't looked for it since. So you can still Google Chris Rock slap and still come up with this. This is an image that's going to live for eternity. I would have made the whole, if I was a comedian, I would have clapped back so hard. I would have made the whole show about Will Smith and his issues. But that's me, you know. But he did what he did and he responded. But I want to talk about his response because I was not happy with his response. I said at the time that I would have fought back. I would have let someone hit me. And I've been thinking about this, analyzing this in our particularly as well as in relation to black men, in relation to how we're supposed to respond and how we're supposed to do things, and how we should go about moving in the society that continues to paint us with a bad brush and with a broad brush, continues to paint us with a bad brush and with a broad brush. And the collective image of us all is based on the collective image of us all is responsible for our individualistic interactions that we have with individuals, with other people. So when you go to the store and you get called the N-word, or when you get treated like trash, or people think you're following you around the store, and the police are harassing you, or the doctors don't think that you deserve more medicine, or the teachers are singling out your young black child, this is all because of the collective image of us all. This is why it's happening. We have to do something about it. Now we can ask them to change. We can ask them to change, and I'm not saying we shouldn't ask them to change, but I'm also saying that we have to take a look at ourselves. Now, a lot of things that happen about this, I'm not going to play this because I always get strikes. I watch people's videos with 100,000 views and likes and stuff. They play a whole video from front to back and they don't get any. And the video is up there. I have no followers. I have a few followers. And I play a video and it can constantly get strikes. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. I got to put this watermark up here. It's crazy. It's crazy what I got to do in order not to get strikes. So what I'm saying is that we had to look at our collective image, and we had to do something that's different and better in order to combat the selective outrage that Chris Rock is talking about here. We have to do something about that, right? When we got Pookies and Ray Rays running around here impregnating people and just saying, I don't give a F, I'm not paying, I'm not doing anything. When we got our basketball players who have made it to the pinnacle of their profession, continuing to say, I'd rather deal with thug culture, rather impress individuals, rather than rule in our favor, or do the right thing, then this is a problem. This is a problem that we have to take a serious, hardcore look at. And in the debate about how Chris Rock should have handled the situation, I gotta admit, I probably would not have been able to handle it the way he did, because he was emasculated before the whole world. But he finally took his licks back, if you will, and he was able to say something. But and people have played this video, and I'm not gonna critique the whole thing again, because I get strikes. You know, the low man in the totem pole gets strikes. But I think but his response was, and how we should act and how we should comport ourselves in front of the world is what matters and what is really important. So here we go. We're going to play this.
She fucking said he should quit because Will didn't get nominated for concussion. What the fuck? What the fuck? So then I do some jokes about her. Who gives a fuck? That's how it is. She started, I finish it, okay? That's what the fuck happened. Nobody's picking on this bitch. She started this shit. Nobody was picking on her. Nobody was picking on her.
Yeah, so let me just break it up there for a second there. So, you know, just keep paying attention. He's really going to get into it. You know, you can tell by his mannerisms, his demeanor, the look on his face, the intensity, that he's really still upset about this. He's really still upset about it, right? I know that he's probably practiced his jokes, rehearsed it, but to have to relive this again, you can tell by his tension, his body language, all that he's still so upset about what happened, and a man who would take this out on him.
She said, me, a fucking grown-ass man, should quit his job because her husband didn't get nominated for concussion. And then this nigga gives me a fucking concussion, okay? What the fuck, man? I love Will Smith. My whole life, I love this nigga. I saw him open up for Run DMC at the Nassau College.
Yeah, we all were rooting for Will. All love this dude. All, man, just crazy. Just crazy. Just such a letdown because of the problems that he didn't handle in his home. And this is the collective thought process of the psychology of what was going on with Will Smith on that night. That we all thought that he was just at this breaking point. And you have to be a man. You have to walk in your manhood. You have to take control of what's going on in your life. That's part of being a man. It's part of being masculine. It's part of that. And when you don't have that, and when you're not in control, then you lose control. When you're not in control of your situation, you're going to lose it even further.
See him. These niggas made brand new funk. I love this nigga. He made some great movies. I have rooted for Will Smith my whole life. I root for this motherfucker, okay? And now I watch Emancipation just to see him get whooped.
Now he's rooting for this guy to lose. Man.
How come you didn't do nothing back that night? Because I got parents. That's why. Because I was raised. And you know what my parents taught me? Don't fight in front of white people.
And that's, look at the intensity again on his face, right? Because he was raised right, he did the right thing, he responded correctly, and he understands that our collective image, right? This is what he was saying. Let me translate this for you. Our collective image, when we're out there doing this stuff, when we're out there saying this stuff, when we're out there beefing with one another, you shouldn't do it in front of a group of individuals, or you shouldn't do it in front of people for the world to see, because they already think that we're animals. They already think that we're this. They already think we're negative. They already think we're prone to violence. They already think that we're a bunch of baby mamas. They already think that. And you shouldn't go around proving them to be right. And let me speak to one more point about this, is that the selective outrage continues. We are selectively outraged by certain things. I've watched videos and read the comments about people critiquing that they were mad at him because he called her a B, and because he being Chris Rock called her a B, called Will Smith's wife Jadapinkettsmith a B, and all this kind of stuff. Again, selectively outraged. He has used the N-word throughout this and throughout most of the show. No outrage about that. Again, we have no collective standard. So that's it. You know, we gotta do something about our collective image. Our collective image is destroying us all, and we gotta really work on that. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions, and you agree with Chris Rock? Did he handle it right? What do you think should happen with Jamorant? What happens when we don't listen to our elders, i.e. Shannon Sharp type of individuals, when we don't listen? What happens when we don't do that? Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Much love and peace, everyone.